Have you ever wanted to be a necromancer, but it's morally good? Welcome to the Circle of Spores, where their philosophy on it is very good, because they like their zombies, or they're perfectly fine with them, unless they're evil zombies who want to take over the world and make everyone zombies. That means that the cycle is going to get unbalanced and they need to be destroyed. Circle of Spores is all about keeping some level of balance, and they are shepherds and guardians and harnessers of mold and spores and shrooms and stuff like that. It's just a different type of vegetation that they attribute themselves with, and I think I like that. This subclass gives you some necromancy to work with as a druid, which is fun. I always like when a subclass gives you extra options that are normally only restricted to certain ones. And yeah, I really like the themes of this, plus the image that it comes with is very awesome. So as all druid subclasses get, you get extra spells, spell lists. Maybe not all of them. No, not all of them. Only some druid subclasses get these when it feels like they're more magically inclined. So like a Circle of the Land druid, they get some extra ones. What else is there that gets extra ones? Yeah, Wildfire has an extra spell list. So yeah, I like these because it gives you more options to work with, more spells to have, and more room to play around, similar with a cleric. I like when classes do that for you. Since you can only pick this subclass at second level instead of third or first, it's a bit tricky in the way that it's formatted. If you pick it at second level, you get the free cantrip Chill Touch, which is something that druids don't normally get, but you can have it. At third level, where you get second level spells, you'll have access to blindness, deafness, which makes people blind or deaf, and gentle repose, which basically keeps a body from being a zombie and makes it so that they don't decay for 10 days. Already pretty thematic. Fifth level, when you get third level spells, obviously Animate Dead, and also Gaseous Form, where you become a stinky cloud, or someone else if you want them to, for up to an hour. That's a cool spell. I want to see that used. Seventh level, when you get fourth level spells, you're going to get Blight and Confusion. So more like ideas of this like corruption, spores kind of are seen by society as a bit of a, you know, weird thing. They can cause bad things for people, so therefore they're bad. And ninth level, when you get fifth level spells, you of course get Cloud Kill, so big old stinky cloud of poison. And Contagions, where you can cause a curse on someone and then they're fucked. It's neat, and definitely gives a lot of flavor to that like decomposition, but in a more moderated way, if you know what I mean. Like you target specific things that should not be doing what they're doing, decompose them, so that you can continue the cycle. So first feature, Halo of Spores. It's pretty tame but pretty cool, and there's no uses to this, it's infinite. When a creature you see moves within 10 feet of you, they get stinked out and they take a d4 necrotic damage, or if they succeed a con save, they take none. So it's like a free tiny cantrip all around you that you can use your reaction to do to someone who moves near you. So it kind of punishes that. And the damage increases a load. At 6th level it's a d6, it's a d8 at 10th, and a d10 at 14th level. Considering how it scales, this isn't too large of an ability, but early game it can be pretty useful and incentivize enemies to not move closer to you, and if they do, they're going to take a little bit of damage. Not bad at all. You can use this as long as you have a reaction, which is one of the things druid spells lack, in my opinion. There's a couple of early game spells that have reactions. Absorb Elements comes to mind, but other than that, they don't have too many uses of it, so this is a neat one. The other one is Symbiotic Entity, which is becoming a theme with the more recent druid subclasses that I think is really cool, that gives you more wild shape options outside of just becoming various other beasts, if you know what I mean. So when you use your action to wild shape, you can instead awaken some spores around you by channeling magic into them, rather than becoming a beast, and you get 4 temporary hit points for each level you have in this class. If you think about that, so you get this at level 2, you'll get 8 temporary hit points for using this feature. It's most likely almost like half of your health. If you think about that, just extra, which is neat, and it scales really well. If you use this thing at 20th level, you're going to get 80 temporary hit points. Not many places you can get that. So while you use this feature as well, and while it's active, you get 2 benefits. So when you do your Halo of Spores damage, which is your reaction to deal some damage if someone comes close to you, you can basically double the damage dice, which I think is cool. So you'll do 2d4 instead of 1d4 to someone getting close to you, because you're just that goddamn stinky. Also, your melee weapon attacks deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage to any target they hit. Now, this sounds weird for a druid. Druids normally don't, I mean, I've never seen a druid take out a weapon and start, you know, hitting people, because normally you don't build strength on a druid, you can choose to do so, and normally the dex weapons that a druid gets access to are pitiful. The best one that's your bet is probably a dagger. So, pretty good, but not too amazing. But if you slap Shillelagh on there, it's great. I looked into this before the video. Shillelagh works with this feature because it doesn't class as you making a melee spell attack with a stick. You make a stick, just use your wisdom modifier to hit. So it's still a melee weapon attack. So if you use Shillelagh with this, which is what I think you should do, you can do a d8 plus a d6 plus your wisdom to any attack that's melee, which is honestly great because it's something that I felt like the druid lacked. Damage cantrips are certainly one of the places that druid lags behind in comparison to most of their other classes, because I think the best options are Thorn Whip and then Produce Flame or Create Bonfire, but they're both fire, so they don't have as many types to play around with, if you know what I mean. And this gives you a d8 plus a d6, and some of that's necrotic, which early game some things are still going to resist or be immune to, but it's still really good. I love this. This lasts for 10 minutes, similar to Starry Form from the Circle of Spores Druid, and yeah, I think it's neat. It's you put it on and you can walk through a few rooms of the dungeon and you're good. Let's talk about the 6th level feature, Fungal Infestation. If a beast or a humanoid within 10 feet of you decides to die, that's small or medium, you can use your reaction to turn it into a zombie for an hour. Acts on your initiative, it can only attack, and yeah. That's great. That's really cool if you ask me. You get to raise someone as a zombie for an hour as a reaction. The main reason that I think zombies are great to summon with something like Animate Dead or this feature is because they have a decent amount of hit points, they're easy to hit, they can just kind of tank a load, and unless you're hitting them with a big AoE, they're likely to stay up because they have Undead Fortitude that also keeps them around. So yeah, it's pretty neat, and it does this in a cool way. You don't have to use your bonus action to control it all the time, and you can use this a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. So in the first encounter in a dungeon, and like you're against 4 orcs or something, and they all die, and you have a wisdom of 18, now you have 4 orc buddies that are zombies. And that's fun. If you pair this with Animate Dead, you're an absolute fucking beast and dominate the initiative count, which is one of the ways that you beat D&D. Unless there is an ancient red dragon, then you don't beat D&D. There's a lot of features here that seem to work off each other, which I really like. Spreading Spores is the 10th level feature, where basically while you're in spore mode with your wild shape, you can chuck a 10-foot cube as a bonus action of stinky spores 30 foot away from you. They last for a minute and they disappear if you use it again, but you can use it as many times as you want. If someone starts their turn or moves into the stinky spores, they need to make a con save, or they take your stinky damage from your little reaction thing, Halo of Spores, for people getting too close to you. So it's really cool. It kind of like you're spreading this damage out to everyone around you, which is, you know, that's what spores do. They can only take this damage once a turn, so if they like start their turn in there, then they run out and then they run back in, they're fine when they run back in. Oh, take damage no more than once per turn. So if they succeed on the save, run out and then run back in, they need to make the save again, because that still works. While the cube is there, you can't use your reaction thing when they get close to you, so it's kind of a trade-off, so you send the spores over there instead. And finally, Fungal Body, the simplest feature here, and thank God. You'll get it at 14th level, where you can't be blinded, deafened, frightened, or poisoned. You can't be critted against either, unless you're like incapacitated. So if you're paralyzed, you can still be critted. But yes, I like that. All of the conditions that basically don't stop you from being you, except maybe charm. I like that. It's pretty simple, thematic, and easy to manage for 14th level, because you're a druid, and at that point you're managing much more complex shit that your subclass does not need to get in the way of. So that's the Stinky Person Druid. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this has convinced you to play a stinky boy. If you like the video, you can like and subscribe so that you can see more of our videos. You can comment to talk about stinky stuff. And you can also go in the description and look at our Discord if you'd like to talk to everyone. We're a vastly growing community of 70 plus members at this point. And we also have a shop that you can check out there as well. See ya.
Also, quick thing, can you try to avoid whacking the table? Because it's shaking the thing and the camera.
Oh. That's cool as shit. Apologies if I'm schniffly this recording. I am one of the unfortunate victims of hay fever, so great. What is that sound?
No idea, but it's annoying.
I know, right? Circle of the, you know,